Hello there, very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News. I'm Tracy Shilchi and here are the headlines. Government launches a website in an attempt to fight black money. Finance Minister says number of people under the tax net has increased by 91 lakhs after the note ban. India and Palestine signed 5 agreements for cooperation on various fields. Palestinian president seeks India's help on resolving conflict with Israel. Eight Naxals allegedly involved in the deadly April attack on CRPF personnel arrested in Chhattisgarh. Total number of Naxals held in connection with the attack now at 17. The US will consider talks with North Korea if it halts all nuclear tests. This as Washington and Beijing work on a new UNSC resolution targeting Pyongyang. And no wildcard entry for Maria Sharapova at the French Open. Hopes of qualifying for Wimbledon's main draw 2 ends after round 2 exit at the Italian Open. In a new attempt to fight black money, the government on Tuesday launched a website called cleanmoney.gov.in. The Income Tax Department will put out reports of raids on the website, while the government will rate defaulters from high to low risk. Details on the process by which tax defaulters are being identified will also be posted on the website. To help increase awareness about tax compliance, information on high-risk areas like petrol pumps and jewelers will be given on the portal. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said that as many as 91 lakh people have come under the tax net and warned black money hoarders and tax evaders to refrain from dealing in excessive cash and evaded money. He said that post-demonetization, digitization of economy and tax revenue have increased and that the portal will help honest taxpayers. Central Board of Direct Taxes Chairman Sushil Chandra said that as many as 1 lakh people are under the high-risk bracket and an enforcement action has already been initiated.
जिन लोगों का इन्होंने डेटा माइनिंग के थ्रू डिटेक्शन किया है, लगभग 18 लाख के करीब लोगों का, जिनका इनकम प्रोफाइल और कैश डिपॉजिट मेल नहीं खाता, उनकी ये क्वेरीज अलग हैं। तो ये जो 91 lakhs एडिशनल रिटर्न्स आई हैं, ये और संख्या बढ़ेगी।
What we have done so far, we want to make it public. We are putting it on this portal. That what we are doing, what we have done so far. What is the percentage of persons whose account the money has been deposited? What is their profile? We want to put another thing that how these models operandi have been adopted by the persons, whether how the petrol pumps, how the jewelers, how they have adopted the methods by which they have concealed the income.
The CBI on Tuesday raided the residences and offices of former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram and his son Karti Chidambaram. The raids were related to alleged favours granted to Peter and Indrani Mukherjee's INX in getting clearance for foreign investment when Chidambaram was the finance minister in 2007. Reacting to the raids, Chidambaram said that the government was trying to muzzle his voice.
The CBI on Tuesday conducted searches at more than a dozen places, including properties of former finance minister P. Chidambaram and his son Karti Chidambaram. The searches were in connection with the alleged criminal misconduct involving approval for foreign investments. They were conducted at 17 places across Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai and Gurugram. The investigation also included the residence of former media baron Peter Mukherjee.
We are conducting searches today. We are at the initial stages of investigation. As the evidence comes forth, as the facts come forth, we will definitely be examining and taking all action that is required as per law against those people against whom incriminating evidence comes to light.
The CBI is investigating charges that former finance minister's son Karti Chidambaram's company received kickbacks from INX Media that was founded by Peter Mukherjee. The complaint said INX Media got Foreign Exchange Promotion Board clearance for investment worth 4 crore rupees, but eventually received 305 crore rupees when Chidambaram was the finance minister.
विदेश से जो निवेश होता है भारत में, जिसमें FIPB फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रमोशन बोर्ड की परमिशन लगती है, सवाल ये उठता है कि उन परमिशन के लिए, उन मंजूरी के लिए, निवेश की मंजूरी के लिए क्यों जिन लोगों को मंजूरी मिली उन्होंने कुछ कंपनियों को पैसा दिया जो कंपनियां उस समय के वित्त मंत्री के लड़के की हैं, उनकी मलकियत की हैं।
Reacting to the CBI operation, Chidambaram said that he had done nothing wrong and that the government was using the CBI and other agencies to target his son and friends. He also said that government's aim was to silence his voice and stop him from writing.
भाजपा का गठबंधन तो सीबीआई से है, ईडी से है और उन सारी सरकारी एजेंसियों से है जिन्हें वो अपने मुखौटों की तरह प्रतिशोध और बदले के लिए इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। उनको मुबारक। हमारी आवाज जितना दबाएंगे वो और बुलंद होगी।
The CBI alleged that Karti Chidambaram used his influence with the finance ministry to help the company scuttle the probe against it. The FIR doesn't name P. Chidambaram but refers to his role in the deal. Karti Chidambaram is also facing money laundering probe linked to the Aircel Maxis deal, with searches being carried out at his offices in the past. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the Income Tax Department also conducted raids and surveys at 22 locations in Delhi and Gurugram on charges of Benami land deals involving RJD chief Lalu Prasad. A team of about 100 tax department officials and police personnel conducted searches at the premises of some prominent businessmen and real estate agents in Delhi, Gurugram and Rewari. Searches were also conducted at the premises of the son of RJD MP PC Gupta. The BJP accused Lalu, his daughter Meesa Bharti and his two sons of having a prime role in Benami land deals worth thousands of crores in Patna, Delhi and other cities. Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad alleged that these transactions were a case of quid pro quo as they date back to the period when Lalu Prasad was the Railways Minister. Lalu Yadav, however, termed the raids as a conspiracy by the BJP, saying that the party did not want him to hold a Grand Alliance rally in August. Of course, came hours after Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar said that if the BJP or the central government had any evidence of Lalu's corruption, they should proceed with action.
सरकारी तंत्र का न कोई दुरुपयोग है, न किसी को डराने की नीयत है, लेकिन भ्रष्टाचार और लूट की जांच तो होगी ना। चारा घोटाले में गरीबों का चारा लूटा गया कि नहीं लूटा गया, सजा हुई है। उनके बेटों ने बड़ी बड़ी जमीन बनाई है, पटना में बड़ा माल 7 लाख स्क्वायर मीटर का बनाया है, दिल्ली में फ्रेंड्स कॉलोनी में मकान की चर्चा आती है, और उनकी बेटी ने शेल कंपनी से एक बड़ा सा प्लॉट लिया है बिजवासन में दिल्ली में और दूसरा सैनिक फार्म में। यह सच्चाई है कि नहीं सच्चाई है?
इस प्रकार की गिदर भभकियां जो जुबान बंद करने की कोशिश हो रही है सरकारी तंत्रों के माध्यम से, हमने लालू जी ने खुद ट्वीट करके कहा कि नए अलायंस पार्टनर जो हैं, जो आईटी को अलायंस पार्टनर की तरह इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, ईडी को कल को इस्तेमाल करेंगे, सीबीआई को इस्तेमाल करेंगे, उस तंत्र जो नया उनका गठबंधन सहयोगी है वो उनको मुबारक हो। लेकिन हमारी लड़ाई अदालत में भी चलेगी और जमीन पर भी चलेगी।
छापेमारी कर रहा है तो उसका क्या परिणाम है, क्या पर्पस है, ये सारी बातें जब तक सामने नहीं आती है। मीडिया न्यूज में आ रहा 22 जगह छापेमारी हो रहा है, तो कहां 22 जगह आप लोग दिखाएं?
Now, dismissing the opposition's allegations of vendetta against rivals, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley strongly backed the agencies conducting the raids across the nation. He said that no action is taken unless there is an evidence to suspect wrongdoing. Defending the searches at the homes of former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram and his son Karti and the properties targeting RJD chief Lalu Prasad, Jaitley said that the day of the reckoning has come for many and they will be held accountable.
Now, people in high positions acquiring assets through shell companies is not a small matter. And I think this is the day of reckoning has come for many. They'll all be accountable.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that his government is committed to building a new India through reform to transform. On the 3rd anniversary of the BJP's victory in Lok Sabha, the Prime Minister took to Twitter to respond to wishes and messages. He also said that the skills and talents of 125 crore people in the country are the source of strength to run the country. The Prime Minister also spoke about the government's efforts towards helping farmers and also its foreign policy. It was on the 16th of May 2014 when the results of the Lok Sabha polls were declared, giving the BJP a massive victory. But the main opposition party has come down heavily on the NDA government on its completion of 3 years in power at the centre. Alleging non-performance in several areas, the Congress has accused the Modi government of not fulfilling the promises made during the Lok Sabha polls in 2014.
With the NDA government completing 3 years in power at the centre, the young leaders of the Congress party fired salvos at the ruling dispensation. The main opposition party showcased what they say are the 30 failures of the BJP-led Modi government at the centre and accused the ruling party of creating an atmosphere of intolerance. Party Vice President Rahul Gandhi took to Twitter and asked the government what it was celebrating after 3 years in power. He alleged there were only broken promises and non-performance.
झूठे मुकदमों के लिफाफे, नाटकीय भाषणों पर, प्रचार और प्रसार से, लीपापोती सरकार से कुछ जीत खड़ी की है उसने। 3 साल की उपलब्धियों में अपने दल की जीत और देश की हर मोर्चे पर हार तय की है उसने। हाँ, ऐसे ही कुछ जीत खड़ी की है इसने।
Congress leaders alleged that the NDA government has not taken significant steps to improve the condition of farmers, provide jobs to the youth and curb the incidents of violence against women.
सबसे ज़्यादा जो पीड़ा और दुख किसी को आज झेलना पड़ रहा है वो इस देश का किसान का वर्ग है और पूरे देश भर में आज किसानों की जो हालात हैं उस पर ना तो कोई व्यक्ति उसको रेखांकित कर पा रहा है और ना वो प्रबल तरीके से मुखर होकर आवाज़ बाहर आ रही है।
Out of the 660 centers, only 20 centers have been set up. The Nirbhaya fund hasn't been spent at all. And the NCRB data says a 22.2% rise in rape cases as of today.
Congress also raised questions on the NDA government's foreign policy and internal security.
मौसम की तरह इस सरकार की विदेश नीति बदलती रहती है। क्या मोस्ट फेवर्ड नेशन की जो ट्रीटी है उसे हम वापस नहीं ले सकते? क्या उनको एक आतंकी देश के रूप में विश्व पटल पर उजागर नहीं कर सकते? लेकिन इनकी कथनी और करनी में जमीन आसमान का फर्क है।
क्या यही राष्ट्रवाद है? क्या इसी राष्ट्रवाद की बात करते हैं जहां हमारे सीआरपीएफ के जवान रोज मारे जाते हैं? कि मुद्दे जो लोगों को छूते हैं, जो सचमुच में राष्ट्रता की बात करते हैं, वो मुद्दे नहीं आते हैं।
Congress has also said that it plans to take these issues to the people in the remaining term of the NDA government. Vishal Dahiya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, as the hearing on triple talaq entered the 4th day on Tuesday, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board told the Supreme Court that the practice is a matter of faith for Muslims, just as significant as Lord Ram's birth in Ayodhya for Hindus. The board added that triple talaq has been practiced for the last 1400 years and hence the question of constitutional morality and equity did not arise.
The All India Muslim Personal Law Board on Tuesday defended the practice of triple talaq in the Supreme Court. The board asked how can a 1400-year-old practice be branded unconstitutional. It also questioned the centre for calling the practice un-Islamic. Appearing for AIMPLB, senior lawyer Kapil Sibal said it was a matter of faith and the top court should not interfere in one's faith or belief. The Muslim body also equated triple talaq with the Hindu belief that Lord Rama was born at Ayodhya. Meanwhile, the bench also questioned the AIMPLB on the position of e-divorce in Islam.
3 तलाक वीमन राइट्स के खिलाफ है, चिल्ड्रंस राइट के खिलाफ भी हो सकता है और है यकीनी तौर पर इसलिए कि उनके हुकूक मारे जाते हैं, लेकिन उसे असंवैधानिक करार देना, अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल करार देना ये बिल्कुल गलत है। इसलिए कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में तो बहुत सी ऐसी चीज़ें हैं कि जो बहुत सी चीज़ों को कवर करती हैं, तो मैं इसको तस्लीम नहीं करता रोहित साहब की। दूसरी बात यह है कि उनको नए कानून बनाने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है। एक सिर्फ सुप्रीम कोर्ट अगर बैन लगा देती है 3 तलाक एक साथ देने पर, तो कानून बनाने की क्या ज़रूरत है?
On Monday, the centre assured the apex court that it will bring a law on Muslim marriage and divorce if the practice of triple talaq is made invalid.
इसमें समानता के अधिकार का वायलेशन है। भारत का संविधान जो है, अगर कोई भी पर्सनल लॉ है और इस तरह का लॉ जो भारत के संविधान के खिलाफ नहीं हो सकता, भारत का संविधान सर्वोपरि है और इस संबंध में भारत सरकार ने भी अपना हल्फनामा पेश करके अपना पक्ष सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने रखा और साफ कहा है कि ट्रिपल तलाक का जो नियम है वो मुस्लिम बहनों के साथ, बेटियों के साथ में ये अन्याय है, ये जेंडर इनजस्टिस है।
Tuesday was the fourth day of hearing on a series of petitions challenging triple talaq, polygamy and nikah halala in the Muslim community. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
With that, a quick break here. We'll be back with more news in a bit. Stay with us.
Are we going to see a beginning as far as the Uniform Civil Code is concerned in the country?
There's nothing like Uniform Civil Code.
Arif Muhammad means to say is that you threw your weight with the Muslim Personal Law Board.
Arif Muhammad Khan was not even present when we had a meeting with the Prime Minister, invited me to his office when Muslim Personal Law Board met me.
Minorities are living in fear because of an aggressive Hindutva agenda by the RSS.
They made Narendra Modi and the BJP and RSS as a line that it will come and eat everybody up. It didn't happen.
Watch To The Point with Governor of Manipur, Najma Heptullah, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Now, India and Palestine have signed 5 agreements after wide-ranging talks between Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Hoping to prevent any misunderstanding in Islamic nations before his first visit to Israel, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterated that there was no change in India's traditional approach towards Palestine. He also said that India supported a viable and prosperous Palestine and assured help in resolving its conflict with Israel.
Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas was accorded a full ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan on Tuesday. Later, in a summit-level meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the two sides signed 5 agreements for development partnership and reconstruction of conflict-ravaged territory of Palestine. The agreements include cooperation in agriculture, health, youth and information technology, and visa exemption for diplomats.
At the bilateral level, India is committed to be a useful development partner of Palestine. President Abbas and I agreed that both sides, through practical cooperation, will work together to build Palestine's economy and contribute to improving the lives of its people.
आपके बहुमूल्य सहयोग से टेक्नोलॉजी पार्क कॉम्प्लेक्स की नींव रखी है। हमें आशा है कि दोनों देशों के बीच ये आपसी सहयोग निवेश और व्यापार विनिमय को नई ऊंचाइयों तक ले जाएगा।
Prime Minister Modi and President Abbas also discussed the situation in the Middle East and also the situation between Palestine and Israel. Prime Minister Modi extended unambiguous support to Palestine as a separate and independent nation. President Mahmoud Abbas condemned terrorism in all its forms and manifestations and urged that India should support Palestine on its border status of 1967 with its capital in East Jerusalem.
Friendship since the days of our own freedom struggle. India has been unwavering in support of the Palestinian cause. And we hope to see the realization of a sovereign, independent, united and viable Palestine, coexisting peacefully with Israel.
हमने इस बात पर बल दिया कि हमारा विकल्प 1967 की बाउंड्री से पूर्व 2 राज्यों वाला स्टेट ऑफ पैलेस्टाइन का समाधान है, जिसकी राजधानी पूर्वीय यरूशलेम है, जिसके बाजू में इसराइल का राज्य है और दोनों राज्य शांति और सुरक्षा के वातावरण में अच्छे पड़ोसी की तरह रह सकते हैं।
Palestine is a major ally for India in tackling its requirements in West Asia, while India wants Palestine to reach a situation with Israel in a way that contributes to peace in the whole West Asian region. Israel's sensitivities are also important for India. Since Israel is an important partner for India as far as defense and homeland security are concerned, India needs to do a balancing act.
India has good relations with Israelis. Palestinian wants to find a midway between Israel and Palestine. It will be interesting to see that how Israel responds to it when Prime Minister Narendra Modi goes to visit Israel in July. Akhilesh Suman For Rajya Television, with camera person Manoj in Delhi.
In more national news, 8 Naxals allegedly involved in the deadly attack on CRPF personnel last month have been arrested from 2 places in Chhattisgarh's Sukma district. With this, the number of ultras arrested for the April 24th attack has risen to 17. They were arrested during a joint search operation carried out by Cobra and District Police Force. Cobra, or the Commando Battalion for Resolute Action, is a specialized unit of the CRPF. The arrested rebels were part of the Maoist group that attacked a contingent of CRPF personnel belonging to the 74th Battalion of the Paramilitary Force in Burkapal area of Sukma district. 25 troopers were killed in the assault. Besides, they were reportedly part of the Maoist squad that killed a former Sarpanch of Burkapal on the 7th of March this year. The government will hold a day-long conference of relief commissioners of all states to discuss disaster management preparedness. Chaired by Union Home Secretary Rajiv Mehrishi, the annual conference will review the status of preparedness for dealing with any eventuality arising out of the southwest monsoon. A discussion will also be held on other disaster management related issues. The Ministry of Home Affairs, India Meteorological Department, as well as the Defence Ministry are some of the departments which will make presentations during the meet. Representatives of central ministries concerned and officers of the armed forces will also be participating in the conference. And speaking of the monsoon, it is expected to arrive in the country 2 days ahead of schedule. And according to the Met Department, monsoon is likely to hit Kerala on the 30th of May. The normal date for arrival of monsoon in Kerala is the 1st of June, which marks its official onset in the country. The IMD, which has predicted a normal rainfall this year, said that the southwest monsoon has advanced over the Andaman Sea. The monsoon arrived in Andamans on the 14th of May, 3 days ahead of its scheduled arrival. The department says that the conditions are now becoming favorable for the further advancement of southwest monsoon. International news now, and countries around the globe reeling from the fallout of ransomware attack are trying to contain the damage. The malware has spread across 150 countries since last Friday. However, now its impact is slowing down, with just a few reports coming in of fresh attacks globally. In Asia, India was the 3rd worst hit nation by ransomware WannaCry, as more than 40,000 computers were affected, even though no major corporation or bank reported disruption in their activities. The top 5 cities impacted by the virus are Kolkata, Delhi, Bhubaneswar, Pune and Mumbai. The corporate world was back on its feet across the globe after more than 2 lakh computers were affected by the virus across the world. And even as the situation in Europe is reported to be stable, researchers are now looking keenly to identify cyber criminals behind the attack. In a significant discovery, an Indian origin researcher at Google has linked a North Korean hacking group to this latest attack.
Ransomware has been around for a while, but the big difference here is the scale. Just the magnitude of the attack here is tremendous. We're talking 200,000 computers across 150 different countries. So this is really the biggest cyber shakedown in history.
As of this morning, it has reached approximately 150 countries and infected more than 300,000 machines. The good news is the infection rates have slowed over the weekend.
India is not at all the victim of the attack in the manner other countries of the world are facing today. But yes, we are keeping a very close watch. As per our information up to date, there has been isolated incidents in very limited areas in Andhra Pradesh and in a very limited area in Kerala.
And right now we've uncovered a couple of what we would call weak indicators or weak links between WannaCry and this group that's been previously known as Lazarus. Lazarus was behind the attacks on Sony and the Bangladesh banks, for example. But these indicators aren't enough for us to definitively say it's Lazarus at all yet.
Now, the United States has said that it would consider talks with North Korea if it halts all nuclear and ballistic missile tests. Speaking to the media after the UNSC meet regarding Pyongyang's latest missile test, Washington's envoy to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, said that the US will be ready to talk after a total stop of the nuclear process. On Sunday, North Korea launched what appeared to be the longest-range missile it has ever successfully tested, sparking global alarm. Pyongyang said that the missile, Hwasong-12, was capable of carrying a heavy nuclear warhead. It also dismissed the UNSC condemnation, saying that the missile test was a legitimate defense against US hostility. Washington and Beijing, the North's sole diplomatic and military ally, are working on a new council resolution targeting Pyongyang. US envoy Nikki Haley also warned that Washington would target and call out countries supporting Pyongyang, hinting at Russia that had claimed that the West must stop intimidating North Korea.
We have worked well with China. They have really tried to help us in our communications with North Korea, but we've seen where they have strengthened sanctions, other countries are trying to fill that void. And I will tell you that if you are a country that is supplying or supporting North Korea, we will call you out on it. We will make sure that everyone knows who you are, and we will target those sanctions towards you as well.
In more, the U.S. National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster clarified on Tuesday that President Trump's conversation with Russian diplomats about classified information was wholly appropriate. It marked the latest effort by the White House to rebut a Washington Post report that Trump shared highly classified information with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Ambassador Sergei Kislyak in a meeting last week. McMaster did not dispute that Trump shared information but called it wholly appropriate given the purpose of that conversation. The Post reported that Trump passed on intelligence given to the U.S. by a foreign partner in the fight against the ISIS without that ally's permission. McMaster confirmed that Homeland Security Advisor Tom Bossert reached out to the CIA and the National Security Agency after learning of Trump's conversation to give them a heads up that the sensitive information was discussed. Following McMaster's statement, U.S. lawmakers, including Trump's fellow Republicans, continued seeking an explanation as to why the U.S. president shared highly sensitive intelligence information with the senior Russian officials.
As I mentioned already, we don't say what's classified, what's not classified. What I will tell you again is that what the president shared was wholly appropriate. The story combined what was leaked with other information and then insinuated about sources and methods. So I wanted to make clear to everybody that the president in no way compromised any sources or methods in the course of this conversation.
The president should make full, unedited transcripts available immediately. No ifs, no ands, no buts. If the president may have put national security and our intelligence operations at risk, Congress has the right to know about it.
And finally, in sports, Maria Sharapova's hopes of a dream return to a third French Open crown were shattered on Tuesday when the Russian was surprisingly refused a wild-card entry by organizers. To make things worse, the former world #1 also retired injured from a second-round match at the Italian Open on Tuesday, ending her hopes of qualifying on merit for Wimbledon's main draw as well. Sharapova had needed to reach the semi-finals in Rome to avoid needing a wild card for the Wimbledon main draw. The former world #1 was offered wildcards into tournaments in Stuttgart, Madrid and Rome after her return from a 15-month doping ban after testing positive for the hard drug meldonium at last year's Australian Open. The Russian, who lost her ranking during her suspension, had insisted that she'd taken the drug for medicinal reasons for years before the list of banned substances was expanded. That's all we have for you on the Breakfast News. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day.